What's up, guys? This is another episode of JR's Corner. Today, guys, vandaag, very special guest I have here today, Mr. Andre Smith, former professional rugby player, Paul Gym legend, sports scientist, SNC for Marties, Cheetahs, and the Baby Box, and just an all-round great guy. Mr. Smithy, it's great having you here.
It's an absolute pleasure being here with you today, JR. Thanks for having me.
Nice, man. You look good, brother. You look like the dreads, the beard.
Yeah, it's at the 2010 style, huh?
2010.
Just keep going with it.
Yeah, nice, man, nice. Smithy, just for our listeners, I mean, I know we come a long way, you know, since high school. When I got to Paul Gymnasium, you were one of the first people that I got there, and I think between you and my other seniors, you guys gave me the name of Genade. I don't know if people, some of the older friends might remember it.
Yeah, no, why they gave you that nickname, I definitely don't know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, God's grace is good. So
My brother,
maybe it was prophetic.
Listen, yeah, that's actually what I want to tell you. My dad actually, late after that, you know, as being a man of faith, you know, he actually told me, listen here, but who gave you that name? And it's actually profound because you were a miracle baby. You know,
Wow.
my ouers kon nie kinders kry nie. My parents couldn't conceive.
Oh, wow.
So it was a process, you know, and the doctors of the time said, listen here, we give you one in how many, like 500,000 chance that you might get pregnant,
Yeah.
fall pregnant. And
Yeah.
it just, you know, being faithful and praying, you know, for a child, then I was born.
Yeah, no, that's actually amazing if you think about it, how important a name is.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you constantly call someone something,
Yeah.
eventually they become that which you call them.
Yeah.
Because that's the message they keep on hearing. So, yeah, I think some of the other names that they gave some of the guys were not as great. But yeah,
It could have been worse.
it could have been worse.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you were one of the lucky ones.
No, 100%. So, Andre, just give us a bit of your background, man. Where you come from, and you know the type of person that you are, family background, that type of thing.
Yeah, let me start from. I'm married to a amazing wife, Kim Smith, and we have 3 kids. Zion, the oldest, is 4 years old. Then he's got a brother, Eden, who's 3 years old, and we've got a baby daughter that's 2 years old, Nika. So yeah, things are crazy at the moment.
Wow, I can imagine.
Especially at that age. But yeah, my wife has really she just embraced being a mother.
Yeah.
So that helped quite a bit. And yeah, long story short, I was born and bred not too far from here in a place called Vergrove. Went to Somerset West Primary School, and then from there I went to Paul Gym. And then after school I went to Johannesburg. Got a contract there with the Lions as a junior rugby player, and also studied at the University of Johannesburg. And then in 2009 I finished my honours as a biokineticist. Practiced for about 2 years, and then end of 2011 I came to Stellenbosch University to play Varsity Cup.
I remember well.
I did a PGCE that year as well, and then 2013 I got an opportunity to work as the strength conditioning coach for the university, and that's sort of where my career as a sports scientist started, and to work more in the high performance area. And yeah, that was the next 8 years from 2013 until 2020. I was with Marties, and then for 2 years I went to Bloemfontein, where we are still currently living, and I worked there for the Cheetahs for 2 years. And the last 2 years I've been actually trying to establish my own business, and trying to solve the development problem. And I think that's also what we'll discuss today.
Yes.
So yeah, that's just probably a summary of the timeline of the last 36 years. And yeah, it's been quite the adventure. A lot of times we have a certain idea of how things need to play out, and sometimes it's better and sometimes it's not as expected. But God has been good to us.
Amen, man. That's beautiful. So before we obviously move forward to the unpacking of your business, you know, the project that you're busy with, that you guys started, I'll take you. I just want to have a few things to say. Take you back to Paul Gym days, you know, high school days. So obviously we got to Paul Jump 2005. You guys were our seniors, you know. En ek onthou hy tyd dan moet ek as ek vir hom sien, hy was 'n bietjie korter as ek gewees. Then I had to duck, you know, whenever we saw him. Otherwise, you get a smack over your head.
So maybe need to edit out that smack part because I got into trouble about
yeah,
that
no,
too.
yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, no.
But yeah, that was the good old days where, again, it was never ill-intended. It was just part of the culture. I think they would probably call it toxic these days.
Yeah.
But again, I think in everything in life there needs to be a balance. Some people can abuse that type of authority, and other people, you know, I think it was never to hurt anyone. It was more to bring people together.
No, 100%. Like I mean, for us as if I think back now, it was amazing times and great memories, you know, and obviously building for you guys trying to because your seniors obviously were 10 times harder on you guys than you guys were on us, you know. But obviously just to get the balance, you know, and to try to build men, you know, and build a culture in the hostel.
Yeah. And again, I'm enjoying when I think about it. I saw some of the Paul Jam kids not so long ago. I think they were in a tournament.
Yeah.
And the way that they would greet people.
Yeah.
That was the thing that was like, you don't see that anymore. But they would look at you and they would actually greet you. Where today people are just on their phones, they walk and they're so in their own bubble that they're not aware of people around them. And I mean, sometimes that can make a massive difference to someone because you don't know who you're walking past and what that greet might mean to that person. You know, but it's just like, I see you and I acknowledge you. So yeah, you can say a lot of stuff, but there's certain things in those values that I really cherish. Like respect is something that's also quite high on my list as well, you know, of values. And that was installed, and how you install it, like at the end of the day, those things, you now in hindsight, you look at it and you're like, oh, sure. Greeting people was actually an amazing thing to install in the younger ones coming through, you know, so.
Yeah, and like just the greeting and the discipline and like, I mean, the kids standing up when adults and teachers walk by or older students walk by and waiting for the girls at the door, opening the doors for the girls. I mean, that's just stuff, you know, that chivalry, that type of respect, you know, that you still, and it goes with you a long way, you know.
Yes, of course.
All through life. But something that stood out for me, obviously for you and my time at high school, you were obviously somebody that we looked up to as youngsters. Being the first, I mean, already playing first team for Paul Jum, your second year, playing fly off, you know, SA schools, fly off, vice, Wolfsian, honor Wolfsian?
Yeah, deputy
head boy, and probably the first colored deputy head boy. In that time, I think we had a colored head boy now, last year for the first time or 2 years ago, a year ago, Paul Jum. But nevertheless, you were just like this multi-talented guy that was like unreal, did gymnastics, you played piano, you were amazing in your school, academics as well, you know, being an academic today.
Yeah, you obviously never saw my report. I think if you're in school and you have the opportunities to really exert yourself in all spheres. A funny story was with the music. Coming to a school.
You still do music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it still plays a massive role in my being and
piano, right?
Yes. And I remember I was grade 8 coming in, and you think this is now a predominantly rugby school.
Yeah.
And then this one Monday morning, they were just like, everyone that wants to do music, you must come to the corner of the hall. Everyone's gonna get together there.
Yeah.
And then I look and I was like, there's just like a few girls going, and I was like, I don't know how this is going to look in this, you know. So it's again about, okay, now you think this is, and then my mom phoned because I didn't go. I was like, no ways, I'm here to play rugby. I'm not here. You know, that stereotype about like,
100%.
you know, this music is for girls and rugby is for boys.
Yes.
And then my mom actually phoned the school and said, listen, my son needs to do music.
Get into music program.
Yeah, so then I got called over the intercom and I had to go down to the teacher. Like, she was quite upset. She's like, yeah, but we called everyone to come.
Yes.
So it wasn't the best of starts, but again, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
How you finish.
And the music played a massive role in my school journey as well. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so
now,
it's
beautiful,
much-
man. Was there anything else that stood out in your schooling time before we move on to your next phase, the Lions, and going forward, pursuing the rugby career?
Um, yeah, I think it was when I look back, it's fond memories.
Yeah.
I really felt like I belonged. It was a place where my best friend is still a friend from high school, Irak.
Papara.
Yes, we are still. Yeah, he's my best friend.
Sure. Amazing.
So that has been a, what a blessing
Yeah.
to be able to nurture those type of relationships.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, great. But that's not. It's done.
Yes.
I don't think I left any stone not unturned
Yes.
in school. So it was a great platform to be able to express yourself. And again, in different spheres, from academics to sport to culture. So yeah, all in all a good school.
Yeah, beautiful, man. And then you moving on, obviously pursuing a rugby career at the Lions. How did it come about? Obviously, you were scouted through Craven Week, I assume, or previously.
Yeah, no, through Crown Week.
Yeah. And then how was your time going through at the Lions? And did you start studying there, or did you come study here at Stellenbosch?
No, I studied there. I did a BA psychology, 2006, finished in 2008.
Yeah.
Then I did my honors in 2009. Yeah, I think everyone goes out of school and you think you're going to become a Springbok, and sometimes it's just not your portion. I enjoyed Joburg, but it also came with its challenges. I think any place is, again, what you make of it.
Yeah.
So I think just on face value, you would think that coming to Stellenbosch would be a better option in terms of just the environment and how it is here.
Yeah.
But again, I was in Joburg. I had the opportunity to study for free or with a bursary.
Yes.
So if that was the reason why I needed to go there, then I think that was a good enough reason to go there and to be able to get a degree and an honors and be able to, build a type of career.
Yeah.
So Johannesburg has been a great time, and I mean, you were in Joburg as well.
Yeah.
I think, to be brutally honest, from a rugby point of view, maybe not the best choice, because certain coaches and certain places will be either good for you or not good for you.
100%.
And I think maybe the type of rugby played at Marty's might have fitted me a little bit better at that stage. But again, it comes down to the coach and what he wants to do and whether that will suit you or not. So from a rugby point of view, it was quite a challenging 6 years in Johannesburg. But I mean, God redeemed it in 2012. I played such nice rugby when I was at Marty's. And I really just had that passion again to play. After that, a couple of injuries, big knee injury, end of 2013. But then again, you're like, okay, so all these things doesn't happen in isolation, Maybe my identity was built on rugby too much. That who am I if I'm not playing rugby? You know what I mean?
Underestimate just the rugby player.
Yeah. And so God was also working a lot in me and through me, and just to okay, but how do you see things? How do you, is this who you are, or is this what you do? And a lot of times we think that what we do is who we are, and that's probably the biggest lesson I learned in that period. Is to just know who you are.
And that's actually a very, very important thing, and I'm happy that you touched on it, because I think our youngsters today, I was like that myself for the longest, JR the rugby player, Lions the rugby player, associated, or rugby is associated to the person, and if there's no rugby, then it's almost like there's no value, or there's no person, and to know where your value comes from, and there's a higher power, obviously, that deems you valuable, not just throwing or kicking a ball around, because so many guys, and I think that's how guys lose their identity as well, just thinking, hey, it's about the rugby. Looking at my poster with the rugby ball now, just with the rugby ball, or how important that is to you,
Yeah, and again, it can probably go yes, rugby do give massive opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm not denying that.
Of course, yeah.
Like sport in
Yeah.
general has the opportunity to really change people's lives and to give people opportunities that would never have gotten those opportunities.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful. I'm not speaking against it.
No,
I just
100%.
think that the system is designed to make you chase that as the idol.
Yeah.
And then
The
once you
golden
get,
carrot.
then once you achieve the pinnacle,
Yeah.
and then you realize, okay, is that it? Then,
Yeah.
because I mean, my story when we finally won the Varsity Cup and I got a chance to get the gold medal when I was a trainer here at Marty's.
Yeah.
When I stood there, I realized it was the journey and the process of getting here, and not actually the achievement that was valuable to me. And again, like if you think about it, if you have 3 kids, you're not gonna love them more or less because they achieve something.
Yeah.
It's because they are your kids that they are valuable. And that's so a lot of times I also look at God's heart as a father. He sees me as his child, so already I am who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
He has told me who I am.
Yeah.
And then from that, I use these different opportunities, whether it's through sport or whether it's through business or whether it's through my working environment, to be, okay, what he wants me to be and to touch people's lives, regardless of whether I achieved anything spectacular in the world's eyes.
Yeah.
But just because I know who I am, I don't need the approval of man. You know what I mean?
100%. No, 100%. I 100%. I definitely agree with you. Based on that, we were now in Joburg, coming out of Joburg. Yeah, Marty. So what I wanted to ask you actually, how was that shift? From player to deciding, all right, I'm gonna become a SNC now. How was that transition? And knowing, hey, I have the whistle now. I ga nou die mannen laten hardloop in die gym, and you're not a player, you're not part of the playing group, you're now a management.
Yeah, so obviously I think you still, I think that first year you still get nervous like before the game. And then I realized, oh, I'm not playing today. I'm not playing. I did my part.
Yes.
But again, I think it comes down to aligning with what is your role and responsibility now. And again, that's the thing about serving people, so serving the team. If you align there, then it's not about me, it's about the team. That's a nice thing,
Yeah.
So a lot of times people are like, it's about you, it's about you. It's not about, I'm here to help the team to achieve something, and I want to just be part of that journey. So first you try, and obviously I was also inexperienced, so you try and go the authoritarian way, where you try and get things through force and through, yes, but I'm a coach now. And I realized like that only works like for a certain bit, and then it actually fades. So I realized everything is rooted in relationship.
Yeah.
So if I need to get the best out of the students or best out of the athletes, it's about how good is our relationship. Because he needs to trust that what I'm telling him is to his benefit. And a lot of times that trust gets established through understanding. So when you can't engage a trainer to ask, okay, but why are we doing this? And he just says, do it because I said do it. Then you lose the athlete there. But if you can engage him and say, listen, this is why we're doing it, prior, hopefully not in the session, but prior to understand when you guys come in, this is why we're doing what we're doing, and they can buy into it, then they'll do it whether you're there or not, because they know it's to their benefit. So that's sort of how I enjoyed working and coaching. And again, I think the coach also has to have that type of where it is, okay, I need to involve everyone and I need to get them to buy into the plan. And some coaches have different ways of doing that. I like the coaches that's very relational, because again, our relationship should also be relational. I'm like the glue between the medical and the coaches and the coaching staff. And a lot of times, again, trainers like to coach rugby. I'm not a rugby coach. Then I should have been a rugby coach. I'm a conditioning coach. So I try and also stick to, this is where I need to function.
It's your role.
And that is, so having healthy boundaries, I think, is also...
Yeah, I think especially like I see it sometimes in management groups or coaches, Like if you overstep a bit, then the guys feel, hey,
Yeah,
this guy's trying to
yeah.
take my position.
And
But
and again, like that was also the other thing. Like, okay, so
because
now
you
you're
have a lot
done
of knowledge of
playing.
the game, you played the
Yeah,
game at a high level.
but also even if you're done playing, like, remember, I'm not now gonna go with the players
Yeah.
because the boundary is there that you're now part of the coaching staff.
Yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Now you move with the
And
management.
and I'm like, not that. I'm like 5 or 6 years older, so you can
Yes.
still
Yes.
relate to them
Yeah.
on that level, on the age level too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you need wise counsel to be able to
100%
manage that.
sweet,
Yeah.
man. So, I mean, I'm looking at this T-shirt now, the Uplift project.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
reason
let
why
us,
I'm here.
yeah, why we actually,
The reason why I'm here. So basically, JR, let's make it as simple as possible. So how I see development is the following. And when I say development, I'm not talking about coaching
Yeah.
or I'm talking about rugby specific. I'm talking about what I do, which is strength and conditioning. And I'm saying that when we go to the communities, what is the difference between a kid in Idas Valley versus a kid in
Boord.
Polruas?
Oh, boy.
Yes. And I say there's two things that is valid reasons for that kid to be at a disadvantage versus this kid in Polruas. And the only two things I say is, if you're hungry, you can't train. If you're hungry, you can't study. So you have to look at, okay, this kid can't be hungry. We need to solve that problem. The second thing is, there he's walking into a gym. Yeah, he probably don't have access to a gym. So if you don't have access to a gym, you can't train. You need to solve that problem.
Yeah.
And how will we solve that problem? And maybe I must throw that back to you, seeing that you at Van der Stel Rugby Club.
Yeah.
And that's also the narrative that I heard a lot. Yeah, we don't have a gym. Go to all the clubs in the Boland, they'll tell you, yes, we've got the potential, we've got the guys with the skill, but when they go to Boland, they're just behind because they're conditioning. And I've seen it also, kids coming through from a school where there was no gym, coming to the university even.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's academic pressure. You're now all in a professional setup, technically, and they want you to perform. A lot of times they get injured. They're not used to it. They're not used to the stress of being in a gym. And I said, okay, so how are we going to solve creating a gym where gyms are not accessible? That is basically, if I can use a motto for my business.
Yeah.
If you need a gym, you don't have a gym, I'm your best option. And why I say I'm your best option is because I think I'm coming in at a good price, and I can be as effective as having this facility at the disposal of your environment, wherever the community might be.
Yeah.
So if you go to Van der Stel and you say, okay, so what would you guys need in terms of gym? How would you guys go about solving that problem?
Like for us right now, we basically, we had a facility that we used to train at, but currently we don't have it, so
So you had a facility, you currently don't have a facility. And that's usually the thing in the community.
Yeah.
There might be someone opening a gym and the gym is not viable. It doesn't generate enough income for it to actually be a good business.
Yeah.
So now the gym opens and then the gym closes. I know there's those container gyms that they put down as well.
Yeah.
But again, the container is only limited to one area. So they put down the container, and then also what is in the container. So if a team of 30 rocks up, who trains and who watches? You want the 30 to be engaged for that hour. And then I think just logistics as well. If you look at guys that's working, some guys, if you look at the club environment, they're working, so they have an 8 to 5. I don't think they're really going to go to the gym at 5 in the morning to go train.
Yeah.
Because who's going to pay that gym membership? Does it come out of their own pocket? Is someone paying it?
Yeah.
Let's say the club says, well, listen, we're going to sponsor everyone. Okay, good. What are they going to do? Are you giving them programs? How do you know whether they went? So that exercise, that return on investment, I don't know if it's that good. If I can say, listen, when you come to training, you're also going to gym. I think that will sell a lot better in terms of now you can control it, what they do, how they do it, how much they do, because they always come to training. That's why they They enjoy the sport. So I say, if they come to training, that's where you need to be able to gym. So I've created this mobile unit, which basically, if it works the way that I envision it, it's 6 stations, 6 guys per station, which means it can work with 36 people at once. And then you look at from squatting to power movements, to acceleration, to upper body, to core, to strongman. And even the trail itself has got a couple of extensions on that you can use to train with. So all in all, I think that is your best option. And again, you don't have to leave anything at the club. Afterwards, you pack it up, hook your trailer, and you take it either home or to wherever it stays. That makes it possible to create gyms where gyms are needed. Without the, because again, like the stuff is valuable. If I know my family is hungry, like life is tough in the areas where it's economically not going so well. So you have to also be like, it's a risk reward. Like you can't just leave stuff and no one takes ownership of it. Now also again, trying to put a security there, I don't know if that is your best option. Being able to remove the stuff and bring it again and be effective, I think is the best way moving forward. So that's my product in short. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to establish. So my goal for this year is to really create awareness so that people can't say yes to something that they don't know exists. So that is the big thing, is to get those people that wants to partner with me in terms of getting these things accessible all around the country, can do so if they know about it. So that's why I'm really blessed to be able to actually come and use your platform to be able to speak about it.
Nah, that's amazing, man. I mean, I saw the clip on what it's about, and I think like, I just thought to myself, like, how is this not being something that's a thing, you know? For people, like especially like you say, the clubs that can't afford to have a gym or to go to a gym, or to maybe they can afford the gym, but like you say, other obstacles, you know, that comes with that.
And I mean, it's probably some of the questions that people also have is like, okay, but what does this thing cost?
That's the next question I had.
So now I'm like, okay, it's 300,000, and then you can immediately see people like, hey, 300,000. And I'm like, yes, but remember, you're not comparing 300,000 to zero. You have to compare the 300,000 to whatever else is there. So what are the other options? So now someone says, listen, but I've got a place. Why don't we just fill that with gym equipment? I say, okay, great. How's that going to work, and what will that cost? To get that building full of equipment. It's not going to be the price that I give you, because you're probably going to put in treadmills, and you could put in this, and you're going to put in a commercial type of gym. So we know that's about $1 million that you're going to spend on putting that out there. And then I'm saying, okay, so is that just going to be for the team? Are you trying to get a gym going? What is your goal for that? Plus, again, that's only in one area. So I'm saying you can do multiple areas with the trailer, whereas when you go that route, it's going to be a stationary place that now also needs to be secured. It needs to be well run. So how's that logistics going to work? So for me, that's probably not the best, because now you have to put in every area. You have to put a gym or a facility up. If you have to think about building a gym, because that's your second option, then how much is that going to cost? Now you're more just getting a building, then you have to still fill it. So now you look at 2 mil to get that option. The other one is obviously the containers, but the containers is just moving it around, and then how is the container set out? Again, it's stationary. So someone has to then take control of the container there to make sure that it's not vandalized, it's not this, it's working the way it's supposed to be working. Also not probably your best option, and it's probably twice the amount. I think a container, because there is a company that does the container gyms and stuff. A great option. It's a cheaper option than building a gym, but it also comes in at about 500,000 to 600,000.
I mean, the container, I think a new container itself is about 80K.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Again, then you just have the container.
Just the container.
Yeah, then you still have to move it. Where are you going to put it? That's my thing. Where do you think is going to be the best place to put it that is central enough? Because I'm saying, okay, so if you have one trailer you can go to Kaimandi, but you can also go to Idas Valley. You understand?
Yeah.
With nothing extra.
Yeah.
It's still just the one trailer.
Yeah.
So I think you can consistently do 2 sessions at 2 places with development and with clubs. So it's 2 clubs, it's 2 development projects at 2 different places. That's the reach consistently, because again, you want to build a program over a year. You don't want to just go to one place and then to another place and then to another. Like, it's not, you can't go once per week.
Yeah.
I think you have to have 2 touches to get the education and to get all of those things going.
Yeah, yeah. And I think with that, you're probably going to have to facilitate the guys to, obviously, how to use it. And I mean, you're going to have to train a few other guys as well to use it, because you can't be at the 20 places at the same time. You know?
And
so it's probably going to come through the videos and, you know.
Yes, so that's where the consultancy comes in, because that's what I feel. This is sort of the season that I'm going in now, is to help people set up good programs. So it's not just drop the trailer and there I go. It's just say, okay, how can we walk a road to make this sustainable and effective? And a lot of times you have to, it's in a mentoring capacity, it's in a helping them build programs, how to program, doing all of those type of things. So a lot of stuff that I've learned here, to then now pay it forward and teach it to everyone.
Beautiful, man. Like I think the product that you have is an awesome product, great initiative. I think it will assist a lot of teams, clubs in the communities. And like you said, I mean, if a few, like 2 or 3 clubs come together and they say, listen here, each one takes it 2 days a week, you know, but they can, you know, manage it that way. Then I mean, then it's 100K per club, you know, that I believe that they could get in there, you know, fundraising or budget, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that said, Andre, I think we got towards the end of our episode. I would say episode number 1. Because I like to say this with guests, you know, most of my guests, but I know I'll get you on again going into the future.
Definitely.
Where we can go into a specific topic and just unpack that, break that down, you know, best of our ability. But I just want a word of motivation for the audience, for you. English, Afrikaans, doesn't matter. Something that you maybe love by.
I saw, I think my word of motivation, I think, for this season that we're in is boys need to become men. Because men will become good husbands, and good husbands will become good fathers. And that will be probably my motivational saying for the next 40 years. But I really believe that if there's more men doing what men need to do, communities will change. If there's more husbands serving their wives, there will be good, steady marriages. And if that is that, you have the platform to have good kids coming through, which will, in any case, then just, spill over into your communities. So that's probably my word of motivation.
Beautiful, man.
If you don't know what it means to be a man, stick around for episode 2.
Andre, thank you, man. I just want you know, the Americans, they like to say, give your flowers while the person's still alive, you know. I just want to give you your flowers, man, for me being somebody that I looked up to, you know, as a youngster. You know, and I'm a man now, husband of 2, father, you know, I believe I'm a good husband, good father, you know.
I have to ask the wife, né?
Sy sal weer vertel. As jy sal sien hoe my Father's Day gelyk, dan sal jy weet.
Okay.
There we go. But yeah, man, like I'm just aspiring to be, you know, as the men that came before me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, but to you, man, thank you for what you showed us, you know, coming through. For us to aspire to be the next generation, you know, to become professional rugby players or athletes or, you know, professionals in whichever way we go. We actually got together with the boys now 20 years later, you know, and we all can say, hey, you were somebody that we looked up to, you know. So yeah, thank you, man, and all of the best with your business. I believe it will be a massive success, and yeah, for everything you've done until now. Keep pushing, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Here we go.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Done and dusted. JR's Corner. Peace and love.